understand, the FFA organization was started in 1928, and so you are the 22nd recipient from North Hall High School to earn the National FFA degree, American degree. And then we have Gage Medlin, graduate of East Hall High School, and since 1928, you are the 7th recipient for East Hall High School. Morgan Connor is here with us tonight. So Morgan, we'll get you up in just a minute. The ag instructor at North Hall High School. Our ag instructor from East Hall could not be with us tonight, where you were a student in the FFA program. But let me tell you a little bit about what this degree involves. They have to have worked in the industry, and they've also worked and earned at least 2,250 hours outside of class time in a supervised ag experience. They also have done community service, and they've demonstrated outstanding leadership abilities and civic involvement through a list of FFA and community activities. So it's not something they just hand out to students or hand out to alumni. They have really put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, community service, leadership, all of that. And so we are extremely proud of you for us to say that we had this year 2 recipients of the American FFA degree from Hall County Schools. So,
Rhonda, would you just ask Kylie let her tell us what she's doing now, and let Gage tell us what he's doing now, because they're both remarkable young people that we are so proud of.
Of course. So for the past, I'd probably say about 2 years, I worked at the Fresh Bloom over in Gainesville, and I absolutely loved that. And I've kind of taken a turn in my career, and I'm actually at Linear Tech for radiology right now. But agriculture has been my entire life. I've owned and bred 2 calves at Muddy H Farms on Clarksbridge Road, and they're both Jersey cows, and I absolutely love them. It's still my entire life. I would not be who I am without agriculture.
Fantastic, and congratulations.
So I started working at the farm my senior year with work-based learning, graduated, got an ag business degree at North Georgia Tech, and now I'm there as the animal science herdsman now.
And again, these 2 are incredible, and this is the way it's supposed to work. Gage, I think you were showing cattle your junior year up at the farm when all we had was a tent and some cut-over timber. He's the individual that made $12 an hour helping us make that happen. I guess you were my son that got the 6-digit salary for working on the farm, but we're sure proud to have you. Kylie, I can remember you and your showing and all that you did. And again, Rhonda, I've got a question for those 2, and I know the answer, but I bet there's not many that do. Some people might have thought they'd wear those jackets up here tonight, those purple FFA jackets.
you know what? Even as old as we get, Will, there are still things that we learn. So I asked Ms. Connor, she communicated with these students to make sure, young adults, to make sure you were coming tonight. And so I said, will they be dressed in their FFA attire? And she says, no. Once you receive your American FFA degree, you also retire your FFA jacket. So they came dressed in their business casual attire. First time I've seen this young gentleman in a sport coat. So
I didn't know who he was.
But now that they have earned that, they cannot come in their FFA jacket and their black slacks.
And we will ask you, too, if you'd be willing to turn those over for the good of the ages, and we'd like to put them in shadow boxes and hang them on a wall at the HCSD farm at the Meat Science Center next to Nathan Deal, former Governor Nathan Deal's FFA jacket, which already hangs there. So think about that, and if we have to get you a spare one so you can keep yours, we'll do that too. But join me in congratulating Morgan. Get up here and get your picture with these folks, and congratulations. Kylie and Deb, you need to get close. There we go. Get in there, Morgan. Morgan, you've worked with both of these 2. What can you say about them?
So now I taught Kylie. She was a 7th grader, and she came to me and she's like, "You want to show a goat, Miss Connor?" I was like, "What about
And we talk about those soft skills, those individuals who get up early, stay late, do what it takes to get things done. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Take the bone out of their nose and know how to treat the people around them. You two will be successful in whatever you do for the rest of your lives. And I know you come from good stock, but I think agribusiness has also taught you some lessons that'll stick with you for your entire life. So congratulations, you two. Oh, absolutely. Come on, Mom.
We know where these things start. It's at home, so definitely.
Bo, would you get in there with them for one, too, please? Let them do one with just them and then. Congratulations. Kylie, Mr. Harrington wanted to know if you got your belt buckle showing cattle or riding bulls. Okay, okay. So just making-
Thank you. Okay, now we are going to go into our school safety tabletop reflection. Dr. Turpin did a phenomenal job leading our team of local leaders. Last week, was that last week? Gosh, it feels like maybe a little longer than that. On the 31st, 10/31, he led us on a school safety top training exercise, and we thought it would be appropriate for him to share with you all what we did. So, Dr. Turpin?
And before he shares, when she says led with us, she means the 36 principals and the district leadership and 70 individuals. The best way to get through something that's unexpected, an emergency, is to be prepared for it. Aaron, you did an absolutely fantastic job with the help of local emergency management, state resources, and so again, I want to thank you as a dad.
Thank you. So we've talked about many times that school safety is our number one top priority. And so what we worked through, and this is not the first time we've done this, on Halloween, was we worked through a tabletop activity that dealt with school safety. And it dealt with some pretty ugly stuff. A tabletop activity is when you have a scenario and you work through the scenario. You work through the scenario to test your processes, to test your people, to test how people react when circumstances arise that are unknown. One of the greatest benefits of tabletop activities is how people communicate. And so in the room, just like Will said, we had the principal, one AP from each school, the SRO from each school. We also had individuals from Hall County Sheriff's Department. We had Hall County EMA Director. We had two individuals from Hall County 911 as their key, 911, also known as dispatch, is key to this process. So the activity was developed. It took about 2.5 hours. We did it twice. We split our schools in half. And it was developed in conjunction with Hall County Sheriff's Departments. And what our goal was to give the principals a real life scenario that unfortunately we've heard too many times in our country, and to work through it. For them to hear that what the response would be from law enforcement, for us to test our internal systems. The activity hypothetically began with a Centegix push button. As you recall, all of our teachers have the Centegix button system. When that happens, it immediately goes to 911, and the 911 center has all their screens taken over with the location of the school where the push button originates from, or locations. And the center's taken over by our security cameras. Now, 911 does not sit and watch our schools, but we have a memorandum of agreement between agencies that they can pull it up whenever they need it. It comes up like that. We work through various scenarios. For instance, the kids were at lunch. You know, that's a very unique scenario. Kids are on the playground. Kids are in the activity field. If you're high school, kids are in the gym. Parents are on campus for IEP meetings. Visitors are there. So we worked through all of these scenarios, and each school had to personalize it to themselves. We use the same language we use between emergency services and us. It's our grid maps. If you think of a battleship, it's a grid map of letters and numbers, so that it doesn't matter if you are familiar with the school or not familiar with the school, you can know exactly where to go and to respond to the activity. We worked all the way through the process of reunifying children with their parents. So we worked through the entire process, and there's so many unknowns. But what I was very proud of, and when I spoke with Director of Hall County Emergency Management the next day, he agreed with me that our leaders were able to separate themselves from the emotion and to react and communicate well in a high stress management situation. And that we all felt confident that, God forbid, would ever have to be in a situation like this, that our folks would respond well. So this is one of many that we have done. We'll continue to do some. What we gave each of these schools was a takeaway activity for them to go and do with their office staff, with their school safety coordinator, individuals who are critical to operation of a school but could not be there in the environment. It is not as intense. It doesn't take 2.5 hours. It's going to take about 30 minutes. And it's each one we've asked them to take that back and do it in the next several months with their folks and report back to us with any questions they have so we can continue our improvement process. Any questions on my answer for you guys?
When Aaron talks about grid maps, the proactive work that's been done over the last decade, not only do we have grid maps that we can pull up on an instant notice digitally, so does emergency management on the screens in their vehicles, whether it's a patrol car or whether it's a fire engine, so that immediately when they start to head to one of our schools, those grid maps are up and we're all talking the same language. So that's been incredibly powerful. And also we've taken the proactive steps that in so many of these situations that we've read about over the last 40 years, access to the buildings was difficult for emergency management personnel. Our emergency management personnel in this community have access to our buildings already. They know how to get there, they know where they are, and anybody on patrol should be able to get into any one of our schools on a moment's notice. And so once again, Aaron, thank you. Thank you to all of the people who've worked on this for so long. We'll continue to work on it. There's always a better way, and we appreciate it. So thank
And
you.
I have a question. I know it goes to 911. What does it go to in the school? Like, if a teacher pulls that, does it go to the principal and the secretary, or where does that go?
Yeah, it's a great question. It goes at minimum to the SRO, to the principal, to the assistant principal, and to the safety coordinator. Principals have the autonomy. If they want to send it to some other people, they can. And what that does is that gets a notification on their phone. Also show that there's an incident been reported. It's most often a medical issue, but it also shows on the map where it happens. So that if a person is moving, it shows them moving on the map.
Thank you.
Now, Aaron, that's not to be confused with if we actually had a horrific event. Talk just a little bit about what happens
Absolutely.
immediately, and anybody geofenced within the organization can pull the chain and let
Absolutely.
the board know exactly what happened.
Right. I was referring to the medical 3-button push, as we call it. If it were to be an 8-button push, which would be something very, very bad, then the people I just mentioned, plus probably 40 people at the district office would have the exact same immediate notification that the school principal has. We don't have the notification of a student who fell down possibly has a broken leg. Avery and Eric did. You just heard Avery's centrifuge going off. That's a school that has a medical thing that he's following up on right now with us. It does. If their school is co-located, and we've got a lot of them. Think of Chesty High, Chesty Middle, Sardis. Think about North Hall High, North Hall Middle, think Mount Vernon. Thank you. Davis, Flowery Branch. If it is on the same campus or very, very close to it, we have identified them as co-location, and so we would lock down and would notify those also immediately.
And Aaron, when one of those happened, please, for emergency management and our people, is it confirm and then respond, or respond and then confirm?
Respond, treat it as real, and verify later.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next, we have the 24-25 Work-Based Learning Year in Review. So again, Ms. Rhonda Samples is going to share the good news of what our students are doing out in the community. Mr. Schofield regularly talks about soft skills, those yes ma'am, yes sirs, those see something that needs to be done and doing it before ask. Many of these students that are in work-based learning have the opportunity to learn those super important skills that will transfer into life beyond high school. So Rhonda, would you please share with us
I
the
will.
numbers?
Most definitely. This is from last year. We had approximately 975 students in work-based learning. And so we just pulled all the reports and all the figures and everything together. And so those students, part of those students work for pay. And then we do have students that work as interns where they do not receive a salary. But those students that did receive a salary earned $3,563,588. That's pretty impressive. Over $3.5 million. And those students worked over 303,245 hours in our community. And I guess the other thing I would say is that the work-based learning program is successful because of our community partners. And so we have over 1,000+ community partners on file. This includes students employers who are employing our students. They're serving as mentors. Plus, at the bottom of the infographic, you'll see these work-based learning coordinators do a lot of different events: rising professionals, young professionals, mock interviews, just a series, business ethics training, and so forth. And so that includes, in order to do those events, we have to have community volunteers. So 1,000+ folks in our community every year is helping us with our work-based learning program.
Can't say enough about that. And once again, if you look at the 25 metro areas that the Georgia Department of Labor maintains records for an unemployment rate for 15 years straight, with the exception of fewer than 10 months in the last 15 years, Hall County has had the lowest unemployment of any of the 25 metro areas, from the Golden Isles of Glenn County up to the outskirts of Chattanooga and Tennessee. And a lot of that is due to the preparedness that we're giving these young people, giving them an ability to step in and be a value add in the workplace. So thank you.
And the other thing, if you'll know, 100% of these students receive, like Suzanne was talking about, those soft skills, Georgia Best Employability Training. So I hope the next time I'm here to report to you with our work-based learning numbers, we have reached a new goal of over 1,000+ students in work-based learning this year. We're almost there.
Thank you, Rhonda, and for the excellent job you do with that program and all of our CTAE programs. Next on our agenda is an update for our CSI TSI, which means that translates to Comprehensive Support and Improvement Schools and our Targeted Support and Improvement Schools. This is a requirement each year, a federal requirement that we update you all. And Ms. Heather Barrett, our Title I Director, is going to give us that update. Thank you, Heather, for being here.
Thank you. Good evening. So you have an attachment in the notes, and it's up on the screen now. The top of the one-page summary gives you the criteria for how they identify, Georgia DOE identifies federally identified schools. So there's two categories there, CSI and TSI schools. If you're looking at a CSI school, it's the lowest performing Title I schools, okay? A TSI at the bottom, those are lowest performing non-Title I schools. You will see currently we do not have any schools in the TSI category. We also do not have any schools that fall under that low graduation rate, but we do have one in the lowest 5%, that is Chicopee Woods Elementary. Chicopee Woods was identified in 2023. Once you are identified, you stay on the list for 3 years. The 3 years will be up at the end of this year, so we have been out there working for the last 3 years. I'm going to talk a little bit about the support at the bottom, so if you'll scroll up just a little bit there. Here are the things that we have in place at Chicopee Woods. We do have a district plan of support, and that plan of support is by the end of this year to raise the achievement of the GMAS, which are the intergrade scores for English and math for Chicopee Woods students. The way we are doing that, we have a literacy coach in place there. We also have weekly classroom walkthroughs, and that's above and beyond normal teacher evaluations. It's by our district leaders, district personnel, support staff, also from Georgia DOE and Pioneer RESA. We also have monthly data chats there. We do have the support from Pioneer RESA and also from Georgia DOE. We do have additional staff there for intervention. And then we also received this year, we did not receive it last year due to federal cuts, but we received this year a grant from Georgia DOE for $125,000. We are using that grant to fund the additional teachers that are in place for that targeted intervention. And we also have a small portion left over, and we're doing professional learning that's targeted professional learning for the teachers. So far, what successes are we seeing? We are seeing an increase in the student progress monitoring data. Again, every month, the district staff, including Suzanne, Gerard, and Mr. Alexander, a lot of staff here at DOE, Pioneer RESA, and Georgia DOE, and the leaders at Chicopee, we meet every single month. We do the walkthroughs through the month. We meet every single month and look at the data. Where are the students at? How do we need to pivot? What do we need to put in place? Do we need professional learning? And again, this is our 3rd year of having that in place. We are seeing the student data go up. It's increasing. And we also are seeing the collaborative planning out there. You see it's more intentional and it's increased. Those teachers are meeting a lot, and they're meeting intentionally to raise the achievement of the test scores for the students. So next steps, we're going to continue the professional learning. We're going to continue those monthly data chats. We're going to continue the classroom observations, all of the support, all of the progress monitoring. In the spring, the kids will take the GMAS test. At that point, those scores will be calculated, and then Georgia DOE will present a new CSI, TSI school identified list. The list will not come out until January of 2027, so we will not find out until that point if we're off the list, but it will be from our spring scores from this year. Right now, we're targeted to come off that list. If you were looking at our progress monitoring data and where we're at and the work that has been done the last 3 years. So, and we'll know that January of 2027.
Thank you so much, Heather. Any questions for Heather?
Georgia, how many does the Hall County School District have in CSI or TSI?
One.
How
That's it.
many?
Chicopee Woods, that's it.
How many?
One.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I just would like to reiterate, Heather and her team, they do a fabulous job. Thank you, Jennifer, for all that you do, and Heather in monitoring that school and supporting all of our Title I schools. But specifically there, and I would like to reiterate, I'm there monthly at least, and the data is trending upward. If I were a betting girl, I would say that we will come off that list there. We're just seeing strides that that we predicted we might see as a result of some interventions that are put in place. So thank you for your work.
Once again, Board, just for your information, we just got our official October free and reduced, that's the poverty report for the Hall County School District. And I think at this point, of your 36 schools, all but 8 now would qualify as poverty schools, which is a pretty incredible change even in the 20 years I've been here. So, so again, lots of work to be done, lots of work being done, and thank you, Heather, for that update. Just under 62%, with another 900 students who have not filled out their paperwork yet. We're continuing to work with them and have been since the beginning of school. We've got a lot of students that are living in families that are struggling economically.
Okay, and the final item tonight under teaching and learning is field trips. You'll see that there are two up there that are proposed for March, one for South Hall and one for WLA. I do not need action tonight. I'll bring those back at our next meeting. That concludes the teaching and learning section.
Thank you, Suzanne. Jonathan?
Yes, sir. TAVT report is before you. Collections for the month of October were just shy of 1.2 million, a little down over last month, but that's typical. Still up 130,000 over this time last year. Just let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jonathan. Next issue has to do with the mobility van that I talked to each of you about in terms of purchasing. We have a number of buses that are limited passenger that have lifts for handicapped students. We have a number of full-size buses. And we also have at least 2 families now that are living in areas that are inaccessible by those buses in a safe way. The law says that you can require those families to go to the closest safe place to load those students. It is an incredible hardship for these families. And so once again, I appreciate you approving that passenger van that is handicapped equipped, and would ask you to, again, officially approve that purchase right now out of special ed funding.
All in favor?
And again, the cost on that van was somewhere in the neighborhood of $67,000. Thank you. That'll change lives for at least 2 families in Hall County.
Just briefly, while we're under physical management, and I know it's not on the list, but we continue to work with the county commissioners, some kind of resolution on the senior exemptions that are, without understatement would be, they're out of control, and there are so many applied that aren't supposed to be applied. We're not ready to have a presentation yet, but we are continuing to work with them to work through some of the correction process on that.
And once again, with just with less than 1/8 of the senior exemptions, and please don't confuse that with a challenge and a problem with senior exemptions. We think senior exemptions are the right things to do for individuals who've reached those ages, but you've also seen the incredible percentage of growth in those over the last 10 and 15 years. And I think we're beginning to see a piece of the reason why. It's like Hotel California. Once you're on, you never get off. And what we realized when only 1/8 of those properties were audited, that there were over 200 properties that should have no longer qualified for senior exemptions, some of them for a decade or more. That is significant amounts of money. We still have not got any sort of acceptable resolution for what's going to be done about, and this is not a one-year deal. This is 40 years and counting. And again, some of these properties that should have been off a decade ago. And if anybody suggests to you that that's not real money, it hasn't cost the school district anything, number one, that's not true. I'll be glad to put together a presentation and show you exactly, including this year when we're $7 million in deficit spending. But also maybe even a bigger issue is that what that says is that those misapplied exemptions have been paid by individuals who do not have exemptions. And that should concern all of us deeply. And so, again, as Craig said, we don't have a lot to talk about tonight, but we believe it is a big issue that needs to be addressed, and we'll continue to push for that and get back with you as soon as we have more information.
Will says it affects more than just this board here and our finances. It affects every individual that pays property taxes.
Yes, sir. East Bloss collections for October were $3,683,000 and some change. Overall, right around where we expect it to be for this time of year, and still a very healthy number. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Matthew, project updates.
Yes, sir. We have reports on 3 projects tonight that are active and in construction. First off is Johnson High School. We are finishing up this project. This is, if you recall, the 3-story addition. We're intending to occupy in January. So as we go away for the Christmas break, when we come back at the first of the year,
we expect to have the kids in this building, and then we'll begin our process of transitioning out of the other buildings, which is the modular building and the annex up the hill. The photos that you see, you'll see a lot of finished product. We're entering the phase where we're beginning to do some of our punch, so you're seeing finished classrooms. And so the interior of the building is in good condition, fully conditioned, basically fully functional now, just working through all the bugs. Here you see the gym, which was a replacement of the auxiliary gym at the school. And then so still under construction, we're still working on our handicap accessible ramp to the building. So this will be the first time Johnson High will have a truly functional ADA compliant way to get to the buses from the main building. We'll also have a really long bus canopy there to keep the kids out of the weather when they're loading buses. So anyway, we're working through a lot of things. Aaron and I are meeting this week with the school again as we continue to work through all of the many, many details that we have to work through to make this kind of a transition happen during mid-year.
Matt, when that's finished and we move in, do we have any extra space for growth, or are we going to be full when we move into that new part?
It's going to be pretty full at this moment, but you know, what I think when we get into the building, there is a little bit of space, and I think as they have the right kind of space, they're going to experience a lot of other advantages to having classrooms that are the right shape, the right size, and workable. I think it'll give them a lot more flexibility.
And Matt and I look at space differently. I think we're in great shape. We all have between 100 and 150 seats for butts, which is what I look at, which is pretty darn good in a district that in that part of the county that is growing. The other thing I'd remind you is that were it not for the 1 penny sales tax, we would still be in 25 portables down there. We would not be looking at this opportunity for those young boys and girls that have deserved this for decades. And I can't thank this community enough for, again, supporting the next generation. There's going to be a tremendous move forward. Matt also talked about, just in case they get an early text in the morning, we had a major water main break at Johnson High School this morning. We were able to limp our way through the day. It's 12 feet underground, and we think we'll be ready by morning, but give them an update on where we are with the water situation.
That sums it up pretty well. I went by there on my way here. They have located the problem, so that's a big step. They felt like it would be probably a 3 to 4 hour process, so somewhere around 8 o'clock tonight we should know something, but I'll text the superintendent when we get to that point, when we know that we have the repair made. But from the words of my folks, we believe 80 to 90% positive we're going to be in good shape for tomorrow morning. We just want to get through the process before we make any promises.
And if the other thing you'd check out, there will be ice wherever water's been flowing, and just make sure we have maintenance taking care of whatever may be turning into an ice pond by morning on the back of that building.
Yes, sir.
Other questions for Matt?
Next up is North Hall High School. This one is at a really good place at the moment. If you kind of look at the photos and kind of through the list, you'll see we're over this next month, we'll be finishing up the exterior brickwork, finishing up getting the windows in. All of this is in anticipation of getting our HVAC start up next month. So once we get to that point, then we get into the finishes, the things that require conditioning, such as the final finishes of flooring and cabinets and things. So this one is moving along very well. We do have this one, we're anticipating occupying this fall. We should be complete sometime in the spring. We do have one more phase of renovation this summer, the rest of the restrooms and some other work throughout the building that we split it up over 2 summers because we had a lot of work to do. But North Hall is, for the first time, connected all the way across. No longer, we were 4 buildings, then we were 3, then we were 2, now we'll be 1. So this is a big step for them. Right.
Deborah, both the Johnson and the North Hall plans are going to make those significantly more secure than they've been in the past as we bring kids under, for the most part, one roof. And so, once again, North Hall High School circa 1957, for the three of us sitting around this table that have children or grandchildren that are attending those schools, it's about time. And so it's needed. It follows East Hall, which also was circa 1957, and what a difference that has made for East Hall and that community. And North Hall is coming right behind them once again, paid for by the generosity of our voters and the 1 penny sales tax. So, thank you, Matt.
Last one up here is World Language Academy replacement. This project is really just getting out of the ground, but you'll see slab pours. We have one more to go, and then we'll start going vertical with the building. Also have a lot of the curb and gutter in on the property, so you can really see how the parking lots and the field, how everything is going to function. So we're tracking very well on this one, on schedule, and it's looking really good. Any questions on any of the projects? Only one funding request tonight. This is for a replacement of the cafeteria tables at East Hall Middle School. We have several that are just beyond repair, so what we'll do here is we'll just do a full replacement of that cafeteria, and then any of the tables that are still usable, we'll move to another school. And that's just kind of our pattern of utilizing these things until they're at end of life.
Let me highlight that again. What will happen, we've got a number of tables that are no longer operational in East Hall Middle School. What will happen is they will get a full slate of new tables. Matt's team has already identified which tables still have useful life in them, and we will move out single and doubleton tables at other schools and replace them with those tables from East Hall Middle School. So thank you for your fiscal responsibility, Matt, and for making wise use of those resources. I would like to recommend that that expenditure be approved as presented. The sooner we order, the sooner we can get them in, and the sooner we can get children in tables that aren't broken in East Hall Middle School cafeteria.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Tonight you have before you the personnel action items that for your review. We do not need action tonight, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yes, it was. It's that time of year. That is correct. That is correct.
Mr. Chairman, that's all we have. I will remind you that we do have a board training tonight. Aaron, you want to just give us a preview of what this training is about?
Certainly. If you guys will leave your machines on when you step out for dinner, Todd's going to come around and pull up a website for us, and we'll spend about 90 minutes with you guys taking a deep dive in a few areas.